the 8th of January 2025. So we're continuing with our Ramananda Samvada reading, and we'll have a kirtan first. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Aradhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Pragyana Desha Vidhi Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai. Oh Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura. Oh Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Oh Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gan Habega Girit Hare, Shishi Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishi Mad, Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishi Mad, Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Param Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishi Mad, Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasara Shishi Mad, Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Shila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sabhaboma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudiya Vrantaracharya Ki Jai. Jai Shila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Shila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Arupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swarup Damodar Raya Ramananda Gaura Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Shilhardas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Swarupe, Daita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhuveka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swabila Swarupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavarti Nokalo, Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundarata Tikatamba Satipita, Sadahridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha, Yam Pravajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam, Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava, Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Benedustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi, Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay shiptascha karmadi tarangamadye kripa maitvam sharanam prabhana brinde namaste charanarabindam bhajami radham aravindanetram smarami radham madhurasmitasyam vadami radham karunavaratram tato mamanasti katyena kapi tavaivasmi najivami tvaivina iti vignaya radhe tvam naimam charantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Astotar Sarashishimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nityalila Pravishta Om Astotar Sarashishimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering my Dandavat pranams especially to our dear most Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad Ki Jai. And I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord who are listening on the live stream today. Dandavat pranams. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, coming to our study, yesterday we read an explanation about the Varnashram principles and the 4 ashrams and the 4 varnas. We read through this carefully, and we were acknowledging this Daivi Varnashram system, yet it is external. It's not the internal quest that Mahaprabhu wants to hear. So he says, Eho baya, age kahe ara. Go further, go further. This is external. Sriman Mahaprabhu said, what you have just said is external. Please tell me something more than this. Sri Ramananda Rai replied, to completely offer the results of one's activities to Sri Krishna is the essence of all perfection. So all these are the essence of all perfection, yet the essence of the essence of the essence is what we're coming to. So they're all superlatives along the path, but they're not the supreme superlative that we're anxious to taste. So now, my Gurudev is giving a commentary. So we're on page, what page is this? This is page 38. We're on page 38 of this little book here. 39. Huh?
39.
Oh, sorry. 39, yes, 37, 38, 39. 39, page 39. By declaring this as external, Sriman Mahaprabhu intended to convey that yes, by following the system of Varnashram Dharma, Sri Vishnu is pleased, but only partially so. Varnashram is not directly related to the constitutional nature of the jiva as a servant of Sri Krishna, nor is it devotional practice composed entirely of the 9 limbs of bhakti performed for the pleasure of the Lord. Swarup Siddha Bhakti. So understand these fine tunings that we're going to be highlighting as we scroll through this whole Samvad. So the Lord is not going to be, it's not the highest service. Uttam Bhakti, or topmost devotional service, is that bhakti which sets the pleasure of Sri Krishna as the goal, and in which the 9 processes of devotional service, especially hearing and chanting, are executed. By the mercy of Bhagavan, that Uttam Bhakti thus attains oneness, or qualitative equality, tadatmya, with the special function of Bhagavan's internal potency. This understanding of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, we are one, yet simultaneously different from the Lord. We are Bibinamsa Tattva, we have a particle of that internal Shakti within us. And through the Sangvit Shakti, the knowledge potency, that Hladini Shakti can be connected by the conditioned soul. So it's saying here, qualitative equality, tadatmya, with the special function of Bhagavan's internal potency. That's his Swarup Shakti. So yes, we will connect with that Swarup Shakti in service to the Supreme. That Swarup Shakti is only engaging in service to the Supreme. So we are these particles, and we also can attain that connecting internal service to the Lord. Even when the sadhak finally attains perfection and achieves service to Bhagavan in his eternal pastimes in the spiritual realm, the activities of hearing and chanting do not subside. Rather, they become even more supremely relishable and keenly desirable. The greed, the lobh is there. This taste and desire are in both the devotee and Bhagavan. We have this verse, Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Lakuta Krit Sadulabha Sandra Ananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akashani Chasa. This Shri Krishna Akashani Chasa. Krishna is attracted to that bhakta who has developed his prem. Krishna is running, eager to hear and be with that bhakta. So they both realize ecstasy. This taste and desire are in both the devotee and Bhagavan. This Krishna Akashani Chasa. Indeed, they both realize ecstasy. Krishna realizes ecstasy. To the liberated souls, this ecstasy is highly desirable, as it is their most treasured object and their ultimate goal. Here the term karma refers to the activities mentioned in Smriti and other scriptures that are performed on the basis of the natural inclination of the present body. The pursuance of Varnashram Dharma is sakam karma, performing acts in accordance with scriptural injunctions to fulfill one's own material desires. It's not Shuddha Bhakti, but it's on the path of Bhakti. Offering the fruits of one's activities to Bhagavan is therefore superior to this. So yes, offering Nishkaram Karma Yoga, offering the fruits of our work to Bhagavan is superior to Varnashram. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita 3.9. Yagna Tat? Oh.
Yagna karma nonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara.
O son of Kunti, apart from offering the fruits of one's selfless activities, Nishkaram Karma, to Sri Vishnu, other forms of karma are simply a cause of bondage. Therefore, remaining free from the desire to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you should perform all activities with Sri Vishnu as the goal. Bhaktaram Yagita Pasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna is that supreme objective of all sacrifices, of all work. Whatever karma is performed for the pleasure of Sri Hari is called yagya, sacrifice. Any other activity is the cause of bondage in this world. Srimad Bhagavad Gita further states,
Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchantanamayam.
sages who perform buddhi yoga, devotional service endowed with knowledge of Sri Krishna, renounce the fruits of action in the material world. They become liberated from the cycle of birth and death and attain that state beyond all miseries. There's a beautiful verse in the 11th canto, Bhayam, Dvitiya Vinibhyeshitam Syat Isatupatasya Viparya Yoshmiti. This is saying that material fear, Bhayam, fear arises from total absorption in the material world. This is where fear manifests. So one who is liberated from that fear is fully engaged in offering his services completely to Krishna. They become liberated from the cycle of birth and death and attain a state beyond all miseries. saying the same thing. Shastra repeats itself constantly because we need to make these deep impressions, these sanskars. So at the time of leaving this body, these sanskars will rise. And with the rising of those sanskars, we can attain a higher destination from our present condition. Performing karma while free from attachment completely eradicates the fear of all bondage. This is the verse I've just said, Bhayam dvitiya viniveshitam syat. This fear is arising from material attachment. Srimad Bhagavad Gita discusses this topic in the section on Karma Yoga. Sri Krishna himself says,
Subha Shubha Falairevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mam Upaisyasi.
This is from Bhagavad Gita 9:28. O Arjuna, in this way you will be freed from all bondage caused by the fruit of good and evil deeds, and by the yoga of renouncing the fruits of action. You will be a unique soul amongst liberated persons, and you will come to me. The person who is able to embrace this teaching will become such a unique soul, such a special personality. He's climbing over all these impediments to attain pure service to Sri Krishna. Our Gaudiya Goswamis have stated unequivocally that we should never offer any sinful activity or low-class activity to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. One should perform bhakti by offering one's very self and abandon the mentality of being the enjoyer and the doer. As the next verse says,
Shravanam Kirtanam Dhyanam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Swarpanam Sakyam Sarvam Dasye Pratishtitam.
This is from the Hari Bhakti Kalpa Latika 10.3. The devotional process of hearing about the Lord, glorifying Him, remembering Him, serving His lotus feet, worshipping Him, offering obeisances to Him, surrendering everything to Him, and befriending Him, all rest on service to Him. Seva is the symptom of love, we have said so many times. This service, it's the symptom of love. We see it in the reality in our lives. We serve our family members, we serve the nation, we serve the government out of some type of affection or fear. We serve the various animals in our lives, dogs and cats, etc. This is sometimes demonstrating our affection. It's described that the sun performs his perpetual orbit out of fear of the Supreme Lord. This fear is like an Aishwarya approach to service. Like fear of the government, we serve the government out of fear, etc. This verse describes Dasya Bhav, in which the devotee feels, I am a servant of the Lord. When one becomes a servant, nothing remains his own. Not his body, his intelligence, his senses, his speech, his heart, his religion, his desires, his wealth, or his actions. One cannot even say, I am performing austerities, or I am performing bhakti, because the consciousness that I am the doer also disappears. The first stage of bhakti is Atma Samarpana, or self-surrender. We see in the description of Nishkaram Karma, which we are going to describe more in a moment, but if you have, just to get the picture clear, if you have two people coming into a temple and there's a donation box in front of the takoji, and one person is a Nishkam Karma yogi, and he gives $100 in the donation box, and the bhakta, he also gives $100 donation in the box. So what is the distinction between these two acts of giving? There's a huge a huge difference. The Nishkaram Karma yogi is thinking, this is my $100 and I am giving my $100 to Krishna. Whereas the bhakta, the Shuddha bhakta, he is thinking this already belongs to Krishna. I am just returning his property to him in this donation box, whatever. So you see from this example a clear understanding of the distinction between Nishkam and Shuddha Bhakti. So holding that example in mind, it should make it more simple to appreciate the rest of the descriptions here about Nishkaram Karma Yoga. When we feel that all our desires have been fulfilled by worshipping Sri Vishnu, we may conclude that Bhagavan Vishnu is pleased with us. But really, this is not the case at all. Therefore, Mahaprabhu considered offering the fruits of one's action to be an external conception. You are feeling satisfied by offering these fruits. Does it mean that Krishna is satisfied? Does Krishna need anything? Krishna is Atmaram Aptakam. He's totally self-satisfied. He needs nothing. So who are we offering this for the pleasure of? We're offering it out of a mood of what's called self-righteousness. I'm doing it's actually for my benefit. Nevertheless, it's very, very purifying. And it's a step on the path. So this whole Ramananda Roy Samvada is going to be describing these different steps to the ultimate conclusion of Shuddha Bhakti and Braja Prem and service to the Sakhis in Vrindavan. Therefore, Mahaprabhu considered offering the fruits of one's actions to be an external conception, because this method of worship is not inherently pleasing to Bhagavan. It's not pleasing to Bhagavan. He is only superficially pleased with the devotee for the sake of that devotee's happiness. It's like the ultimate conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadhamam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tam save papabhyo mokshayishyami masu. This is and this is ultimately surrender. But this is not pure bhakti. This is the threshold, the doorway into bhakti, because it's about me and my surrender. It's not acknowledging the object of surrender and what will please him. So this is clearly stated here. For the sake of the devotee's happiness, Krishna will accept that. Such a worshipper considers the earth, the heavenly planets, and other such places to be related to him. This conception has no connection whatsoever with Swarup Siddha Bhakti, or the 9 limbs of devotional service performed to achieve one's perfect spiritual body. We're taking it to the highest consideration every time. Some who follow Varnashram Dharma consider their austerities to be their own. Some consider their mother to be their own, some their father, and some consider everything they have to be their own property, their personal property. For example, once there was a Brahmana who sat beneath a tree performing austerities. A pigeon, perching on the upper branches, passed a stool on him, which broke the Brahmana's meditation. He became so angry that by his glance he burnt the pigeon to ashes. By this he believed that his austerity had achieved perfection. So impressed was he that he became very haughty, proud, and was not slightly concerned about pleasing Bhagavan. Understand the subtleties of all this. This applies to every single action in the 24 hours of the day that we perform. We're in process. And it's not just a few minutes of the day that I'm considering these things while I'm hearing them and reading them, etc., but how to activate them in my complete existence in this birth, how to put it into action, how to realize these truths. Bhagavan fulfills the desires of such a devotee, yet remains unattached to him. We want Krishna to become attached. Sri Krishna Akashani Chasa. I just said this expression. Krishna becomes attached to that Premi Bhakta. A sadhak who, by the special grace of Sri Krishna, performs Uttam Bhakti, or activities exclusively for the pleasure of Sri Krishna, desires nothing, nor is there anything more that Sri Krishna possesses that is worthy to be given to him. I was remembering Sudama Brahmana when I read this. Sudama Brahmana goes to visit Dwarkadish, his dear school friend in Dwarka, and he is sent there by his wife. His wife is feeling the pinches of poverty, but Sudama is not. Sudama is on a transcendental level and just appreciating the company of Sri Krishna. He doesn't ask him for anything. Krishna reciprocates because he's in the core of the heart, but still Sudama is not desiring that. His wife was desiring that. Thus he sells himself to such a sadhak. The sadhan of following Varnashram pleases Sri Krishna only fractionally. For this reason it is called external. Devotees have to really deeply understand these conceptions, because whenever we're describing any parts of the philosophy, these principal steps have need to be solid in our presentations. Srila Saraswati Prabhupada says that the bodily achievements of those who follow Varnashram Dham is based on the false egoism arising from the bodily conceptions of I and mine, and are thus confined to this universe. Bhakti, on the other hand, is beyond the material universe. We're not concerned with the nature we've just spoken about, even thinking your mother or your father is your own. Own what? Own material, temporary form of worshipable relative. It's all transitory. So we have to come to the higher stages of consciousness. Bhagavan Sri Gaurahari regards the external realization of those persons residing outside Vaikuntha or Goloka Dham as fit to be rejected. And he does not accord any special independent recognition to the worship of Vishnu by the Varnashram method. Gyanis direct their worship towards the formless aspect of Bhagavan, Nirvishesh, and Kamis, reward-seeking workers, revere his variegated forms, Savivesh. Both worship Sri Vishnu for some material intent. It's going deep. According to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to offer the results of one's action to Bhagavan Sri Krishna is the very essence of perfection when compared to the ordinary Varnashram system. So it's higher. We're going through stages. We've come to the next step of Nishkaram Kamaya. We've come from Varnashram. Nirvishesh Tattvavadis actually remain absorbed in karma, which is full of variety, or savivesh. Even though it appears that they are engaging in bhakti, factually it is not so at all. Everything they offer is related to the body. Such offerings bear no relation to the soul, and so Mahaprabhu calls the offering itself external. It's on the bodily platform. Undertakings such as constructing hospitals and dharmshalas, guest houses for pilgrims, and digging wells may be offered to Sri Krishna, but they are external and are thus an obstruction to the soul's relationship with Bhagavan, because there's some aspect of sakam karma. I want something. Sa, the prefix means with. It means I want something for my own satisfaction. Nish is the opposite. Nish, without any desire. So even the Tattvavadis, they have some desire by performing these pious activities. Consequently, one's devotional service is blemished with undesirable habits. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami has said,
Na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kilakuru vraja radha krishna prachur parischaryam iha tanu.
Sri Manashiksha 2. O my dear mind, please do not perform either the dharma or adharma, religion or irreligion, prescribed in the Shrutis. Rather, you should perform profuse, loving service to the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna. The Shrutis have ascertained them to be the highest principle of worship and the supreme absolute truth. We've just finished our study of Jaivadama, and we were reading the false Shruti daily, every single day. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first 5-6 verses that he's saying is, we are not following this dharma, artha, karma, moksha path. This is to be rejected again and again and again. we've understood this is karma yoga. This is the yoga that Mahaprabhu is rejecting here, even though these principles are in the world as being the stepping stones to coming to the purer conceptions in the heart. We can't just suddenly come to this detached state of consciousness. It has to be a gradual evolution of the consciousness. This evolution is our sadhan bhajan.
860. Yat karosi yat adnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madharpanam.
This is Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9:27. Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, O son of Kunti, whatever activities you perform, whatever you eat, whatever you sacrifice and give in charity, and whatever austerities you perform should be done as an offering to me. All endeavors should be to please me alone. The term Mad Arpanam speaks here of the independent Savichesh Tattva, the absolute truth, possessed of all transcendental attributes, without a touch of the material. Its use refutes the notion that the Supreme is nirvishesh, devoid of form and other characteristics. This nishkarma karma process, in which one performs one's prescribed duties and offers the results to Bhagavan with no desire to enjoy the fruits, is also known as Gyan Mishra Bhakti, devotion mixed with the desire for liberation. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that in this verse, Bhagavan suggests the practice of offering everything to the Lord, Bhagavad Arpita Bhakti, for those who denounce devotion performed with personal interest, Sakam Bhakti. So I just explained that. Of course, the principal Sakam Bhakta that we read here about in the Bhagavatam is Dhruva Maharaj. He went to the forest, he had the intention of getting a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather, greater than Lord Brahma. And he achieved that destiny, even though when he saw Krishna, of course, all his desires left him. But nevertheless, that was his intention. And this is the example of the Sakam Karma Bhakta. Yet, who are unable to abandon karma and gyan completely and do not have the qualification to perform one-pointed devotion, ananya bhakti. This practice can hardly be called Shuddha Nishkarma Karma Yoga, as this name is awarded only to action that is performed according to the injunctions of the scriptures as an offering to Bhagavan. You're offering it to the person, Bhagavan. A person's ordinary eating and drinking habits may not be included in this. Now, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in this little search for the ultimate life, he gives a beautiful, very simple commentary on this topic that we're talking about. He says to give and take means person giving and another person receiving. So if I'm performing austerities, who am I giving them to? What is the objective? This distinct feature of dealings between the living entity and the personality of Godhead is a more clear conception of the absolute truth than that which is found in Varnashram Dharma. So that's what we've just discussed in the previous verse. This Varnashram has been rejected. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is very nicely saying that to give and receive by two people is the dynamic of love. Those unable to understand the process of exclusive Ananya Bhajan are instructed to offer all of their activities, like eating and drinking, to Bhagavan. In much the same way, the worship of the universal form of Bhagavan is recommended for those unable to properly conceive of the established truths regarding the actual object of worship, namely Sri Krishna. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, for example, we have this universal form is described by Shukadeva Goswami 5 times. 3 times in Canto 2 and twice in the 3rd canto. Why? Why is he saying that repeatedly? To give us confidence in the objective of the personality, to show us first of all the form of the Lord, that he's a reality, to take faith. So it's a step, it's a stage. We are, as bhaktas, understanding that the universal form is not our meditation at all, but we are appreciating why Shukadev Goswami is saying that. He's saying that to introduce us to the conception of a personality, to see that personality in nature, etc. So again, it's a stepping stone. Like these are all stepping stones we're discussing. Thus, the performer of the activity is still the recipient of the fruit of action, which is indicated by the Atma Pada form of the verb kurusva, meaning to perform. Furthermore, the verse makes no mention that this practice relates directly to Bhagavan. This is the point. It's not directing the purpose is not.
There are two forms of verb in Sanskrit. One is called Atmanepada, the other is called Parasmaipada. So Atmanepada means doing it for oneself.
Yes.
And Parasmaipada means doing it for somebody else. So here this particular term, Kurushva, means doing it for oneself, Atmanepada.
Very good. I hope everyone heard that. Very beautiful explanation. Doing it for, this is like we were saying earlier about the stage of Sharanagat. This is still for oneself. I am surrendering. I haven't tuned in to what are Krishna's desires exclusively. When I do that, I'm not even thinking about myself. I'm just thinking about Krishna and his beauty and his form and pleasing him. This love is not in this world. So it's a process to, first of all, appreciate that state of consciousness and then aspire for it. It's two stages. The practice of the ninefold process of devotional service, known as Navada Bhakti, begins when the sadhak completely surrenders himself to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So the point that my friend Bilbamangala Prabhu was just elucidating us with this, Atma Pada means for oneself, and Kurusva means performing this activity for oneself. So these are important terms that we can become familiar with. But here, by contrast, the activity is performed first and then offered to Bhagavan. It's like a rope siddha bhakti. I like to paint pictures, so I'll paint for Krishna as a second thought. I like to garden, grow flowers, etc. So as a secondary thought, I'll offer them to Krishna. This is called a rope siddha bhakti. It's counted as bhakti because the object has been served, but it's not full heart serving. So we're training ourselves in the heart region. The acharyas are so merciful to us. They've given this path, very clear path, how to enter into the heart regions and give fully to Sri Bhagavan as we see the gopis. The example fundamentally is the gopis. For this reason, the type of devotion being discussed is not to be equated with bhakti yoga. Indeed, it is not even considered one of the limbs of bhakti yoga. So this is the conclusion of this commentary on the Nishkarma Karma Yoga. So it's very clear. Even though these stages have great significance when we are on the lower rungs and aspiring for this simple stage, it's a very high stage, Nishkarma Karma Yoga, to give everything to Krishna. But still there is more. This is the beauty of this remarkable conversation where it's going to take us to. So even higher than giving everything to Krishna. So we'll come to the next consideration now. This is actually Sharanagat. This is the verse describing Sharanagati now. So renouncing occupational duties, 861.
प्रभु कहे एहो बाह्य आगे कहा आर, राय कहे स्वधर्म त्याग ये साध्य सार.
Mahaprabhu said, "This is also external. Speak further on this matter." Sri Ramananda Rai replied, "To give up one's swadharma or occupational duties in the varnashram system is the essence of perfection." So this same conclusion of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharma Parityaja, it's the same principle. So now this is going to be unpacked, opened out. Swadharma Tyag, abandoning Varnashram Dharma. There are two types of Swadharma: to practice Varnashram Dharma with the desire to enjoy the fruits of one's activities, and to offer one's work and its results to Sri Krishna without desiring to taste the fruits. But still, both these considerations have been rejected. Srimad Mahaprabhu declared both of these to be external, whereupon Sri Ramananda Rai explained the topic of Swadharma Tyag, or the complete abandonment of one's occupational duty. I'm scrolling through at a reasonable pace. I hope everyone's able to comfortably keep up. It's really the topics of Bhagavad Gita, which are sublime, but we're just trying to keep with our subject matter and come to the conclusion here. The sequence so far has been as follows. It was first suggested that Varnashram Dharma was the perfect goal, yet Srimad Mahaprabhu designated it as external because by this process one cannot attain prema bhakti. You can sit in the Varnashram world forever, basically. It doesn't necessarily, unless you meet Bhavuka, Rasik, Tattvavid, Vaishnava, who can pull you to a higher stage. What to speak of mounting the staircase of prem? Next, offering the fruits of one's activities, or karma arpana, was presented as the ultimate goal. But Srimad Mahaprabhu also determined that as external, based on the prior statement, Bhaktya Sanjatiye Bhaktya. Bhakti only comes from bhakti. This is described beautifully in the first chapter of Madhurya Kadambini, that bhakti only comes from bhakti. It doesn't come from pious activities. It doesn't come from any type of karma whatsoever. It only comes from service to the bhakta, ultimately. It's the mercy of Guru. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.31. The commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Sridhar Swami, writes of this verse, Bhaktya Satan Bhaktya Sanjatya Prema Lakshanaya. Prema Bhakti only arises from sadhan bhakti, not from pious activities, etc. Good deeds in the world. This is not the root. Bhakti doesn't have its root in this world. It has its root in the transcendental world. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that for those who are incapable of entering into bhajan, verses such as Yat Koroshi have been spoken. This is what we've said. It's a step, it's a stage, and it's a very powerful stage. By properly performing one's role in the Varnashram system, the mind is gradually purified. By not following one's prescribed duties, one incurs a fault. Therefore, it is best to execute one's prescribed duties. However, he who abandons this process in order to perform bhakti is the topmost sadhu, just like the gopis. They broke all maryad, all dharma. They broke, ultimately. This is the highest stage, to serve their beloved in a parakiya mood, not swakiya or anything like that. They broke everything. Therefore, it is best to execute one's prescribed duties. However, he who abandons this process in order to perform bhakti is the topmost sadhu. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says,
Tavat karmani kurvita न निर्वेद्येत यावता मत्कथा श्रवणादौ वा श्रद्धयावान् न जायते.
Srimad Bhagavatam 11:29. As long as a feeling of detachment from this world of work and its concomitant fruits, culminating in the happiness of the heavenly planets, has not arisen, or in other words, as long as faith in hearing and chanting narrations of my pastimes has not awoken, the many rules and regulations in regard to the performance of karma must be followed. Otherwise, we are an asura. If we don't follow this, if we follow, we are suras, we are on the path. But if we don't follow, we are asuras. And most in the world today of Kali Yuga are not following. So all around us, the atmosphere is adharmic completely. Nevertheless, the devotee, even if he's conditioned and by that adharmic atmosphere, he still can be purified. We've already read this yesterday. He can be purified sufficiently to come to this path of Shuddha Bhakti. If one is indifferent to hearing narrations about Sri Krishna, abandons his swadharma before a taste in hearing has arisen, he will fall into a degraded condition. Such a person surrenders to Bhagavan because he fears the result of his good and bad karma, not because he has prema for the Lord. So out of fear, this is Vaidhi-marg. Sriman Mahaprabhu thus labeled abandoning the Varnashram Dharma as external. Bhagavan Shri Krishna has clearly said,
Yadrichaya mat kadado jata shraddha tu yapuman na nirvinno nati shakto bhakti yogosya siddhidaha.
Srimad Bhagavatam 11:28. By virtue of spiritual merit attained in their previous births, those who are neither repelled nor overly attached materially, and in whom faith in discussions of my pastimes has awakened, are eligible to take to bhakti. Bhakti Devi then confers perfection upon them. This is an avaroha panta. This path is descending. So Bhakti Devi herself will confer perfection upon them. All these scriptural indications are very pleasing to the heart because it's the absolute reality. In this world of fake, everything is fake news, etc., etc., and the condition of the planet, etc. So when the ears are hearing pure Shastra, when they're hearing the pure Siddhanta, it's very, very pleasing to the heart. Whether we understand the truths or not, eventually we will understand the truths. It's simply having an open-hearted appreciation for this topic. The execution of Swadharma has been termed external because by following Varnashram Dharma, one will act according to his material nature, not his spiritual nature. Sri Rupa Goswami has said in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu,
Shastra shruyate bhakto nr matra syadikarita.
it is every person's birthright to accept devotional service. That's what we're just saying. Even if we're in an adharmic atmosphere and we're contaminated by that asuric bhav, still we can be, it is our birthright to perform devotional service. This is substantiated in many scriptures. Even that person who does not follow Varnashram Dharma has the qualification to worship Vishnu. The partial quote from this verse is an unequivocal statement to that effect. So these are wonderful, strong, powerful statements.
862. Ajnayevam gunan doshan maya dishtan api swakan dharman samtyajya yasarvan mam bhajet sacha sattamaha.
O Uddhava, my instructions concerning the occupational duties are described in the scriptures. One who deliberates on their merits and limitations and then gives up Varnashram to perform bhajan of me is the best of perfected persons. The word Shastra in this connection refers to the Vedas and other scriptures which profound mundane moral virtues and give instruction how to progress in life. The word Agnaya, knowing completely or properly, is split into two parts, A, meaning completely or properly, and Naya, meaning knowing or understanding. After fully comprehending the inherent limitations and assets of one's prescribed religious duties, one should reject them. Once we know the depth of them, then they can be rejected. There are three obstacles encountered in the performance of Shuddha Bhakti. 1. Dehatma Buddhi, to consider the material body to be the self. 2. Jiva Brahm Aikya Gyan, to cultivate knowledge that promotes the idea of oneness between the Jiva and Brahman. 3. Bhagavat Tattva Gyan, or Aishwarya Gyan, to cultivate knowledge concerning the opulence of Bhagavan. Very beautifully illuminated here. In addition, there are three kinds of people who abandon the path of karma. Agnya, 1. Agnya, ignorant, who depart from the prescriptions of nitya, daily, obligatory, and naimittika, occasional duties mentioned in the Vedas. Naishtika, the atheists who know about karma are presented in the Vedas but have no faith in it. 3. Sarva Pratiyagi, those whose renunciation is complete or who are aware that karma is not a limb of Shuddha Bhakti. They have unflinching faith that through the performance of bhakti to Sri Krishna, all karma prescribed duties automatically becomes complete, meaning they have no other duties to perform. This is the Ekantika Bhakti, absolutely, explicitly one-pointed. Persons in this third category are therefore considered to be superior, and Bhagavan refers to them in this verse. In Srimad Bhagavatam, when Bhagavan speaks of the glories of the association of sadhus, he is referring to sadhus such as these only. For example,
Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha taddoshanadas apavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishyati.
Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25. This is in the Raya Ramananda Samvada spoken by Kapila Dev. Not the Raya Ramananda, I'm Devahuti Kapila Dev Samvada. In the assembly of pure devotees, powerful discussions illuminating my heroic deeds become a rejuvenating tonic for both the ears and the heart. By hearing these narrations, one quickly advances on the path of emancipation from ignorance. First he develops Shraddha in me, then Rati, and finally he experiences the awakening of Prema Bhakti. My Gurudev would quote this verse regularly, he loved it, as Kapila speaks to Devahuti. He automatically attains eligibility to receive all good qualities such as mercifulness, as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22:75. Krishna Bhakti Krishnera Guna Shakala Sanchari. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee.
863 Sarva dharman parityagya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami machuchaha.
So this is more or less capsulating this whole chapter, which is on Sharanagati. This is the principal verse of Sharanagati that we said at the beginning. O Arjuna, abandon all varieties of dharma, such as varnashram, and just surrender completely unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not lament. But we've already explained this is not pure bhakti. In Manashiksha, Sri Manashiksha 2, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami states,
Na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kila kuru vraja radha krishna prachur Parischaryam ihatanu.
Do not perform either the dharma, pious deeds, or adharma, irreligious or impious deeds, mentioned in the Vedas. Rather, you should perform profuse loving service to the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna. In his commentary to this verse, Sri Saraswati Thakur presents as an example the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 4:29-46.
Yada yam anugrhnati Bhagavan Atma Bhavitaha Sajahati Matim Loke Vedecha Parinishtitam.
Bhagavan bestows his mercy upon a jiva who meditates on him constantly. The jiva then becomes free from the root cause of bondage, that is, attachment to all social customs and religious rituals prescribed in the Vedas. This is what this verse is saying. Give up all dharmas. The word dharma here is taken to mean all bodily and mental occupations, dharmas, such as adherence to the spiritual orders and social positions. Sannyas, brahmachari, vanaprast, grihasta. We are none of these. What's that? Naham vipro na chanarapiti vaishnava shudra. Mahaprabhu has said this verse. I am not a Brahman, I am not a Vaishya, I am not a Shudra. Gopi Bharatu Kamalayo Das Dasanu Das. This is the real identity of the Jivatma. The use of the prefix pari in the word parinishtitam, attached, carries a special meaning, indicating that these devotees constitutionally reject all forms of fruitive activities. The soul itself has no attraction to all these dharmas. The sadhak quits his brahmanishta, firm faith in impersonal Brahman, and ishwaranishta, firm faith in the supreme controller of the material world, Lord Vishnu, and attains Bhagavan Nishta, or firm faith in Bhagavan. So these are gradations that we're scrolling through. And the principal teaching, I think, today is to realize what is the nature of the soul, the soul's connection with Krishna. Unless the verse or the description by Ramananda Rai is pertaining to the soul's connection with Krishna, Mahaprabhu is going to reject it as external. So this Sarva Dharma Parityaja is concerned with me and my surrender. I, me and mine am still strongly there. So this is not Shuddha Bhakti. Actually, it's not even Bhakti, because it's not concerned with Krishna's happiness, satisfying Krishna. It's concerned with me surrendering to Krishna. It's me first, and then it's Krishna. So it's a process. So we should come to this higher stage of beyond the Bhagavad Gita teaching, even though the Bhagavad Gita teachings are sublime and so essentially necessary, as my Gurudev has been commenting all the way through. There are absolute nuggets of Shuddha Bhakti within these teachings that we should cherish and hold. So we have to go through these stages to be complete. I was just thinking that without this strong, solid foundation, how is Ramananda Rai and Mahaprabhu going to place these teachings that he's going to give in the final conclusion of our surrender to the Sakhis? The Sakhis are the one breaking all Maryad, breaking all dharmic principles, breaking all the rules of Shastra. They're running to be with someone other than their husband in the forest late at night, young girls. This is completely opposed to material dharma. And yet this is the highest example that all the devas, the devas' wives, for example, are honoring this parakya. So how to put this parakya in the highest esteem? It must be grounded fully on the solid foundation of Shastra, which is what Mahaprabhu is milking from Ramananda Rai. So tomorrow we'll come to Bhakti mixed with empiric knowledge. This is Gyan Mishra Bhakti, and continue our walking through to this higher stage. So Sriman Ramananda Rai Samvada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol, Gau Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Vanchakalpa, Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhavyevacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.